Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode with my flea market vintage finds. This time I have for you those items. They are quite interesting, and I did not pay a large sum of money for them. So the most interesting item, in my opinion, are those binoculars, those opera binoculars, Art Deco from the 1920s, I believe. I liked this mother of pearl material over here, but also the fact that they are quite small and practical. The optics are not so good. Probably they had gathered dust in time, but this is a nice piece. I did not pay a large sum of money for those binoculars. I paid 60 lays, or the equivalent of 12.18 euros, or 13.36 American dollars. And right here is the manufacturer's name. And we have a Bush Multinet binoculars. Interesting, here we have DRP, and the DRP is an indication that this item is registered as Deutsches Reichspatent or German Empire Patent. This sign was used from the 1800s till approximately 1945, the end of the Second World War. Here, I believe I have some series, and right over here on this lever we have Emil Bush AG and Rate, no, probably the German city where these binoculars was produced. As you can see, some dust over here on the lens, but pretty in a pretty good condition. And I specifically love this mother of pearl, which is in immaculate condition. The only problem with it is this over here, but pretty much a nice piece, and I'm quite proud to add it to my collection of old things. And I also bought from the same seller a old book. I usually don't buy old books because I find them in a pretty rough condition. What attracted me to this book was this art, this animated moon over here, and I'm not so sure it was original to the cover of this book. Well, you must see the cover is leather, and I believe it's the original cover of this book. It is a French book written by this gentleman, A. Hermant, and the name is Deuce Sphinx. And the Deuce, I think the two Sphinxes, I don't know in French. It's a French book. Look at those beautiful inner coverings of it. Those are original because I've looked on the internet and I've seen this particular book sold. And here is the date when it was published. So 1896 in Roman numerals. And I did not pay a large sum of money for this book. It's pretty in a good shape. It has some problems here, but in a pretty nice shape. This small book. I paid only 15 lays for it, so the equivalent of 3.5 euros or 3.34 American dollars, and it's quite a nice little book. In French, probably I won't read it, it's just for decor, but a nice book from the late from 1896, so quite an old little book. Okay, let me put this aside, and let me show you now a beautiful Romanian pen, quite strange in this configuration. Let me tell you first what I paid for it. This is first the Flaro Minior model, and I did not pay a large sum of money. I paid around 20 leis or 4.06 euros or 4.45 US dollars. And what is striking about this piece is the fact that we don't have a clip here, but we have this little chain. It reminds me of the Caveco Sport models. On the chain we have Flaro on one side and on the other. The pen, I believe it was made for school people, and this has a strange configuration. It looks like desk pen with this ending. Of course, this cap is a pressure fit cap like this, and it reveals a hooded nib, quite nice, steel nib, gold plated. It is quite interesting because you turn this end part, and we have here a little sack, and you pull the ink by pushing on this sack. It doesn't have a large capacity of ink, but it does its job. So a beautiful Flaro Minior. I did not pay a large sum of money, and it is in this wonderful configuration. I could not pass this opportunity to add this little interesting pen to my collection. And let me put this aside, guys. And here I bought a nice metallic box full of pencils, Faber-Castell Gold Faber. It has an interesting mechanism of opening it, so you have to push on this side and on this side, and it opens. Inside of it we have different, I believe this is a warranty, and we have different colors of pencils. They are not new, they were used, but I did not pay a large sum of money for this particular box. I paid only 15 leis, or the equivalent of 3.05 euros, or 3.34 US dollars. So quite a nice buy, a little nice looking box. And for the last, I have this geometrical set. I believe it's made in Germany, Richter and Company Precision Copernicus 12. It comes in this fancy box, and it has also an interesting opening mechanisms. You have to pull those rods on both sides, and it reveals this nice looking set. Unfortunately, it is not complete. One piece is missing, and it comes with this little sleeve, original Richter, made in Germany. It has this beautiful red velvet, and those are the instruments, guys. Let me show them to you. Probably this has a little bit of problem, and the previous owner has put the pieces all together using this tape. I will look into it, but this piece is missing. Well, I found it interesting, especially this piece. I don't know how to use it, but it's very, very well built, as you can see. It has also a stamp of the manufacturer right over there, Richter. And I did not pay a large sum of money for this set, guys. I believe that when those were new, they were quite expensive. I paid for this set only 50 lays, or the equivalent of 10.15 euros, or 11.14 American dollars or US dollars. And guys, I've I have another similar set, but made by Nestlers, also in Germany, and interesting also precision. This is a P8 model, and let me see, it has also a similar opening mechanism, but only on one side. And if I'm not mistaken, I paid for this a similar sum. You can see the instruments are shiny on this Nestler's box, and they are full, so no piece is missing. I don't know, I have something for these sets. Probably, I don't use them. Probably they were used for by architects or designers back on the days prior to the computers. I've read somewhere on the internet that they are probably from the 1920s or the 1930s. I'm not so sure. They seem newer, probably from the 1950s or 1960s. If you have information about those sets, please leave them in the comments. I don't know much about Richter or Nestlers from Germany, but they are quite nice sets. So guys, this was my episode of the Flea Market Vintage Finds. I hope you've enjoyed my latest finds. Unfortunately, I did not find some interesting writing instruments. Only the items you see on my desk. Tell me what you think of my latest buys. I want to wish you to have a wonderful day, guys, wherever you are. I will see you again in the next episode. Till then, bye bye, and God bless you all, my dear friends.